Golden rings and bite-sized treats look simple on the tray, yet a precise system powers each batch. A timer ticks. Hot oil holds steady at 375, and a single turn of a metal handle drops perfect circles that rise like little life rafts. A baker flips them in seconds, glaze flows like glass, and a display case turns into a rainbow of texture and taste. That scene feels normal now, but one idea made this ritual. A lunch truck owner saw how a cup of Arabica coffee with a sweet round snack could change a morning. He opened a tiny shop, watched guests dunk, and then leaned into the habit so hard that a brand grew to thousands of locations across dozens of countries. Stay close. You will hear the origin, see how cake and yeast styles take shape, and learn how a leftover cutout turned into a top seller. Coffee in hand, we head inside the kitchen. The story starts in Massachusetts. Bill Rosenberg ran lunch trucks after the war and tracked every sale. Coffee and donuts led the ledger. So he opened a small bakery called the Open Kettle in 1948. He stood at the counter and saw a simple move again and again. Guests dipped a donut into hot coffee. He embraced that habit and, in 1950, he renamed the shop Dunkin Donuts. Growth did not arrive in a day. He needed a bigger draw. So he offered 52 flavors in one place, a glass case full of choice pulled eyes, and families left with boxes instead of a single piece. A morning ritual took root. Now we step behind the counter. Shops use 3 supply paths. Large stores mix and fry on site each morning. Regional bakeries send trays to busy locations that need volume. Small formats keep frozen batches that heat on site. The path depends on space and management, yet every donut starts with one of 2 bases. Yeast gives a soft, airy bite with a pale ring around the waist. Cake gives a firm bite and a sturdy crumb. First, the cake base. Staff pour water into a stainless bowl and add a proprietary dry mix. Wheat flour, nutmeg, non-fat milk powder, egg powder, sugar, and salt anchor the blend. The batter must move fast. No rest. A machine called a Belshaw plunger stands ready. Dunkin adopted this tool to keep shape and speed tight. A baker sets a timer, turns the handle, and the plunger drops identical rings, 1 per second, into hot oil that holds at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. The rings sizzle for 45 seconds. A staff member flips them, then they cook for 45 seconds more. A rack lifts the batch out. The color turns honey gold. Air cools the surface to set the crumb. A glaze, a frost, or a coat of sugar waits nearby. Chocolate cake uses the same base with cocoa folded in. The plunger drops uniform rings again. Each side needs a longer cook, around 1.5 minutes per side, so the center sets and the cocoa flavor blooms under heat. The tray rises, the rings cool, and a rich shine will land later. Now the cake Munchkins. The tool swaps to a nozzle that releases 4 small portions with each turn. Tiny spheres fall into the oil. A second screen presses them under the surface so they cook evenly for close to 3 minutes. A lift, a drain, and a cool period of 20 minutes set them for glaze or sugar. Small size, big payoff. French crullers call for a different base. Staff use a Parta shoe-style mix with a higher egg ratio. The plunger holds a special star-shaped nozzle. One turn forms a ridged ring. Heat meets moisture, steam expands inside, and air pockets form. The texture turns light. The center feels custard soft, and the ridges set clean lines. Each side cooks for 2 minutes and 45 seconds at 375. Then the tray rises and cools for a glaze that will settle deep in each groove. Now the yeast base. This path takes more steps. A baker loads a mixer with a proprietary blend of wheat flour, milk powder, egg powder, dough conditioners, and stabilizers. Active yeast and water enter next. The hook kneads until the dough turns smooth and elastic. A proof box prepped at roughly 90 degrees with high humidity holds the dough for 10 minutes. Volume doubles, and a net of tiny bubbles forms inside. Rollers feed the dough through a sheeter again and again until the sheet hits a set thickness near 1/2 inch. A cutter stamps rings and the small centers in one pass. Staff set raw rings on a fry screen and return them to the proof box. This second rise lasts roughly 45 minutes. The dough puffs, the surface feels tender, and a faint aroma spreads through the room. The screen slides into hot oil at 375. The lift drops, the rings float, and a staff member flips each piece after 45 seconds. Another 45 seconds, then the tray rises. The classic pale ring around the middle appears, a badge of a good yeast donut. A rack holds them as oil drips and steam escapes. Filled yeast donuts skip the hole on purpose. A solid cutter stamps each round. Then the tray heads to the proofer so the rise matches the rings. Fry time runs longer here, about 3 minutes per side, so the thick center cooks through. Up they come, draining and cooling. A rack of golden shells ready for filling and finish. Those missing centers never go to waste. They become yeast munchkins. Staff sweep the small rounds onto a screen, lower them into hot oil, and set a top screen to keep them under. A quick nudge with a hand tool rolls each piece so every face sees the heat. The batch takes roughly 90 seconds, then a lift, a drain, and a cool. Thanks for staying to the end. If you want more deep kitchen tours and origin stories that turn a snack into a movement, hit subscribe and drop a comment with your favorite style. Do you crave a classic glaze, a cruller with a shiny coat, or a Boston creme with that smooth center? Next time, we step inside another sweet icon and follow the heat, the tools, and the choices that shape a legend.